guys, how's it going? This is Matt Wieteha, Matt W Fishing. If you've seen my channel before, then you know that. Let me see if I can get some better lighting. That's a little bit better. Yeah, you can see that all my rods are in my boat right now, or I'm in my truck. Just dropped my boat off at the wrappers. I'm gonna have JH Design put a wrap on my boat. You know, they let us kind of slide for the first invitational on the whole wrap deal, but I'm gonna have it ready for the second one. I kind of want to do like I'm gonna do the tournament video and everything for the invitational on Okeechobee, but I kind of want to do this video first, kind of a recap and a you know, what my thoughts are. You know, going into this tournament, I really didn't think that it was going to be as tough as it was on me. You know, the conditions were a little screwy. The first day of practice, we had 35-mile-an-hour winds out of the northeast, which made it really hard to fish anywhere. And I started my practice. I launched in Harney Pond and fished really close to the ramp first thing. You know, I have some fish that I've always fished for that are real close to there. Ended up getting a couple of bites out of pads, dragging a worm, which made me feel good that maybe there's some fish pulling in to spawn there. And nearby there was some cattail lines and some little islands and stuff that that throughout practice I got some bites flipping a jig. And basically I would go in there. I went in there first, had 2 bites flipping a jig. There was a guy in front of me, so I kind of went towards the bank, fished in there, fished around that area a little bit, and ended up leaving, going up to Horse Island, fishing that whole deal, and I couldn't get a bite. I mean, I fished in some really good water, what I thought was really good water, and just couldn't buy a bite. And that kind of told me that the conditions were just really bad and just fish really weren't going to be biting in those kind of areas. So I kind of bailed on that, ran back into the Harney Pond area, tried to get into the Moonshine Bay, which you guys know was a pretty good player in this tournament. One trail was blocked off, didn't think there was another one on that side, on the monkey box side, so I kind of just bailed and went back over to that reed stretch where I had those jig bites, and had 2 more jig bites. So that made me feel good. I left, ran around, tried to find something similar, couldn't, ended up going back to that area, fished a different part of it, and got 2 more jig bites. And every time I would get one that felt really good. They'd pull back really hard, and you know, things like that. So that was pretty much my first day of practice. Second day of practice, I went to the south end, fished through my better waypoints I had established in pre-practice, didn't get any bites. Ended up getting 2 bites on the complete opposite side from where I'd usually got bitten there. And after that, I kind of got burnt out or a little bored because I just wasn't getting the bites that I thought I would down there. I talked to Val from Gambler. I was actually staying with him at his place in Moorhaven, and he'd had 2 bites as well. So I knew it was really slow, and I just ended up getting out of there. Practiced some other things nearby. Didn't get any bites. Ended up bailing at about 1:30 and ran up north just to kind of, you know, get my mind, you know, in a different mindset and fish some fresher water. And ended up pulling up into the Tin House area where this whole thing was won, and started throwing, you know, typical stuff, chatterbait, frog. Got some nice frog bites in this one stretch. I think got a couple of jig bites too, and checked some stuff from pre-practice that I thought was decent. Couldn't get bit doing that, and at that point I had launched at Cluson, so it was pretty much time to go back. Third day of practice, I went back to Harney Pond, went north, fished some things around there, didn't get any bites. Actually ended up catching 1 3-pounder on a jig, but it was kind of the area didn't set up that great, and I just fished it for a little bit longer, didn't get any bites, and I left. Went back to Horse Island since it was a better day. Couldn't get nothing going in there, like absolutely nothing. Except for one head that I caught a 7-pounder out of about 2 months ago. I decided to go back in there and just check it out. Got one good bite out of that same head. Figured I'd just at least use that head in the tournament to just somewhere to stop and flip for a little bit. And went back up north. Couldn't find any cleaner water between there and Tin House. Started fishing Tin House again. Revisited that stretch where I got bit on those pads. Got a bite immediately. So I kind of had that, you know, like that's a good little area I could probably go in the tournament and get some bites. Then I ran further north, fished some areas. The wind had laid down and actually the clean water out of the Kissimmee River had backed into the lake, and it looked amazing. And I fished around there for a while. Again, couldn't get nothing going. Ran further north, found this one area that had some clean water. Kind of stuck with a jig for a little bit and had one good bite. Saw a guy catch a 3-pounder in there. And I went way back into this deal, and when I started backtracking my way out, I got about 50, 70 yards from where I caught that one fit, or I had that one bite, and had about 2 more bites. So I felt like I could probably go there and get a couple of bites. It was just kind of way out of the way, and really didn't think I'd be going there in the tournament just because of how displaced it was, and how the bites were they were kind of in an area, but it didn't seem very solid. And the tournament, it just didn't go my way. I'm not gonna lie, everywhere that I stopped my boat, except for maybe Horse, there were guys that did well in the tournament. I mean, everywhere I went, I could tell you the names. I mean, Paul Elias, Brett Height, Tao, something like that. I messed your name up, dude. I'm really sorry. I actually talked to him at the service trailer on Tuesday. He seemed like a really, really cool dude. But yeah, I saw David Walker throughout the day. I mean, I was around him both days, and I did lose one 5-pounder, but it just didn't go my way. And that's part of it. That's part of this whole deal. Being on my home lake, you think I'd have this big advantage. I know what to do, when to do it. And this week was I just got weird vibes from the lake this week, if I'm being honest. I couldn't figure it out. Break. I couldn't figure it out. And but you know what? I'll be honest, if there's one stop along this entire deal out of the 6 tournaments on the invitationals that I'm going to tank and take it really well, it is my home lake. It is Okeechobee. And some guys may not understand that, but here's the deal. Last year for the Toyotas, I had an equally bad finish. I mean, I did not finish well in that tournament. Like I said, I made some poor decisions. My timing was off. I should have gone south in the first day instead of going there the second day. Just a whole slew of things. But it was just bad decision making, and just things didn't go my way that tournament. And it was my worst finish of the entire year and everything I fished. But look at the year I had after that. Santee Cooper, 2nd place. Toyota Series on Harris, I cashed a check. The championship was an amazing tournament for me. I finished 4th. And that made me take that bad finish at Okeechobee really well. And then me and Nick go ahead and win Team of the Year in Roland after that finish. So I'm just gonna chalk it up as a bad week, and I'm not gonna say this next comment in an arrogant way, and I've had people tell me this already. Not that I'm arrogant, but they've told me this comment. But if I was to win this tournament, it wouldn't have surprised anybody. I mean, the same thing goes for Val. I mean, Val stayed with me. He was one decision away from doing really good in this tournament, and he didn't make it. And you know, I know he regrets it. I mean, Jared was right in the middle of the mix, and it just wasn't a good week for us Okeechobee guys, for us locals, and I really can't put my finger on as to why. I mean, the techniques that prospered in this tournament were just really, I don't know what that guy's deal is. They were just really basic techniques. Black and blue swim jig. I think I've caught a couple of bass in my life on a black and blue swim jig, you know. Chatterbait, same goes for that thing. It was just not my week. It wasn't our week. It is what it is. But you know what? I feel after day one, when I got off the water, I could have punched a hole through the window of my truck. I was pissed. You couldn't talk to me. I was in a really bad mood. I put it on the trailer, got gas, and went back home. Like, I was just, or not back home, but back where I was staying. It was just not, it wasn't good. Yesterday, day two, I didn't, the entire day, even with the 3 o'clock weigh-in, I didn't feel any pressure. I just knew I had to catch 20 pounds to catch a check. And that itself kind of brought its own little bit of pressure, but at the same time it didn't, because, you know, I'd already put myself in the position that I was in, and I was going to be the only person who could get myself out of it. And putting myself, being in a negative mood, or being like, you know, what the hell, why can't I get bit? And that's not going to get you very far. And yesterday, I mean, I had 3 fish. I had 2 2-pounders and a 3. Lost the 5-pounder first thing in the morning, but I mean, that still wouldn't have done anything for me. It would have just moved me from 130th to maybe 100th or something. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm also looking forward to the next event on Clarksville. I'm looking forward to the rest of the lakes on the schedule. You know, we're going to really good lakes at really good times. They all fit my style. I'm not going to pre-practice for any of them. I just don't have that kind of time. You know, I know a lot of guys are going to go pre-practice a lot of these lakes, and that's going to give them an edge. But, you know, last year at Gunnersville, I didn't do any pre-practice. I've never been there, and I just rolled up and just, you know, fished what I knew. And that obviously worked out pretty well for us. But I think going to these lakes with an open mind, no preconceived notions. I am going to do my research on every single one of them. But I'm not gonna tie myself down to that. You know, like, oh, you got to be at Clarksville, you got to be in the ditches, you got to be here, you got to be doing this. I'm not gonna limit myself to that. I'm gonna, you know, use that as a baseline and go from there and kind of apply what I know and what I like to do, and kind of and go off of that. But you know, you know, I've had a ton of support, a lot of people calling me, texting me, just, you know, giving me words of encouragement moving forward, and I appreciate everyone and everything. You know, and I got to thank my sponsors, Gambler Lures, Val's awesome. Val's, especially staying with them this week, this is the most time I've spent with Val ever, and you know, I'm really looking forward to spending the rest of the year with him. He's a super cool guy. He's willing to help. He gets it. And I mean, Gambler Lures is just a staple company in this industry. I mean, if you fish Florida, or even if you fish outside of Florida, you've thrown a Gambler product and you've probably enjoyed using it, and it's probably done you really good. A-Team Remediation Services, probably the best mold and home remediation company in South Florida. I mean, Jason does a great job. He's a perfectionist. He loves what he does, and he does it really well. Senko 6 rods. I can't say enough about Alex and Jenna and everyone at Senko. I mean, those are, and I'm not saying this because they, you know, they helped me out, but they are, I chose to be with Senko sticks. You know, they didn't, you know, I didn't, I don't know how to say this the right way, but like, I want to be at Senko sticks because truly Alex builds the best rods I've ever used. I mean, to have custom butt lengths and guide spacing and graphics and actions and power, and just to be able to customize everything and actually put in your hand exactly what you want to use, that, you know, that goes a long way in your fishing. Like, that helps you on your casting, with your accuracy. It helps with sensitivity, everything. Once you put a rod in your hand that you want to use and it feels right to you, you know, everything else kind of just follows. Obviously this weekend that wasn't the case, but that wasn't the rod's fault, that was my fault. I gotta throw a special shout out to Jim Finley. You know, he helped me design my jerseys for the first couple of tournaments while I'm getting the real ones made. And I'll be honest, I might stick with them for the rest of the year, but for right now, they're doing a great job. They look great, and I'm really thankful for Jim to do that for me. And he cooked some really good food this week, and I'm really happy he was there. Another big shout out, Battery USA, Matt Sparks over there. I've ran lead batteries my entire life, and it has been nothing but headaches from the John boat days to the 18-foot Ranger to my last boat to this boat. I have not had a good experience with batteries. I've tried AGM, gel, Opto. I mean, I've tried all kinds of batteries for my boat, and I've burned them all up. I've toasted them. I've had to do 11 p.m. trips to Walmart to get myself through the next day. I mean, and that takes a lot out of you when you gotta drop everything you're doing, drive into town, go to Walmart, go all the way to the back, get the battery or warranty it. The customer service isn't open. You can't warranty your battery. You gotta buy a battery. You gotta go back. You gotta mount it in your boat. You gotta bust your knuckles trying to get that battery in there. There's nothing worse than having battery issues. I mean, right next to motor issues, which we'll get to that in a second. Matt hooked me up with 236 volt lithiums, 60 amp hours, and 231 AGMs, and we've got those both ran in parallel. And I ran my live wells, my graphs, everything full time. I mean, my live well is either on constant aerator or constant recirc the entire time, and I never had a glitch when I went to turn the key on my motor. My batteries, I've never ran a trolling motor on 100 as hard as I did this week, and I was able to do that because I have those batteries and I have them ran parallel the way that I do. And super thankful to finally have a battery setup that I can trust and that I can get out there and just do what I need to do and not worry about, you know, things like that. So Battery USA, they built a hell of a battery, and I'm really glad to be with them. And Keith at Trustworthy Marine, you know, Keith reached out to me a couple of months ago saying he wanted to help me out this year. He's going to be doing the services on my motor. He's a certified Mercury dealer. I mean, if you guys want to repower your boat, or you need to get some work done to your existing boat, if you have Mercury, Keith is the guy to go to. I mean, he took care of me. He actually rigged my trolling motor and the whole battery system on my boat, and everything came out perfect the way he ran the boat batteries in parallel on a battery switch. In case I ever have an issue, all I gotta do is turn the knob, and I can go switch all my power to my good battery, and I don't have to worry about pulling cables and doing stuff in the lake. All I gotta do is go back, switch a switch over in case one of the batteries doesn't get a good charge or something like that happens and it goes dead. I can go to the good battery and keep fishing. And that power pull charge system that I got on the boat is insane. All I gotta do is run around the lake a little bit and get that charged up, and, you know, everything works fine. And also just a special shout out to the Bascat crew. They were at the service trailers for this tournament, and they really took good care of me. My trailer was having some issues. The new guy they have there did an awesome job. I forget his name. He was a really good dude. He was a mechanic for a lot of years, and he went way out of his way to take care of me, and I really appreciate him. And Cheryl at Lawrence took care of me. My bow unit was having some big time issues. The screen was going out, and the touch screen. The unit was still working fine, just the touch screen was going out. Turned out that was a little bit of my fault. Just the way I had my graph set up on my bow was allowing water to get in the SD port, and it was affecting the touch screen. So she went ahead and took care of me on that, got me a new unit, and now my boat is probably as good as it's ever been. I do have to warranty my 360. Ran into a little issue with that this weekend, but that's just, you know, nature of the beast. I've had the boat for 2.5 years. I've run in some really rough water, and just stuff takes its toll. But, you know, I got to thank all those guys. You know, every little bit of help that everyone gives you goes a long way in this sport, and I'm really thankful for everybody. And moving forward, you know, at this point, I really don't think I'm fishing for points. I mean, I know it's still possible to make a comeback and, you know, make the BPT and all that, but, you know, I'm not going to think about that. I'm just going to go in every tournament thinking of how I can win it, because that's really the only way that I kind of know how to fish, man. To look for a limit spot or to catch 5 or wondering what, I got asked so many times this week, what's going to be the cut weight for the top 50? What's the cut weight? What's the cut? I'm like, dude, no offense, but I'm not worried about the damn cut weight. You got to go out there and catch everything that you can catch, and you got to try and win this thing. If you have a bad practice, you got to just think about it in the way that, how can I turn what I found into the best thing that it can possibly be? I didn't do a great job of that, but I'm saying that's what you have to do in this sport. You know, sometimes you know you're not going to be fishing for the win. At the same token, you're not going to be always fishing for the win. Sometimes these fish will surprise you, and you might end up being by the time it's all said and done. But you just gotta go fish and utilize everything that you have, all your resources, all your tools, all your knowledge, and just try and put it in the right direction. And I mean, you can't think about weights and cut weights. The only weight you should be thinking about is what it's going to take to win. But even that changes. But you got to put yourself in a ballpark idea of what you need to be looking for. If you're catching 2-pound spots and you know it's going to take 20 a day to win, you got to get out of there. You got to move. You got to retool what you're doing. But that was kind of a short little rant, a little recap of how my week went. You know, it just didn't go my way. It was cool having the camera in my boat the first day. Everyone's telling me I did a great job on camera. I hope I did. Marty Stone and JT and Chad McGee did a great job of, kind of telling a little bit of my story and what I was about and how my practice was and all that. But it was a cool experience. First 2 days on tour, those are done and out. Okeechobee is behind me and Clarksville is in front of me, and that's the only way you can go and look at it. I'm actually looking forward to going home and pulling up my laptop and pulling out my MacBook and just looking at videos, tournament results, articles, and just old tournaments and just everything that I can about Clarksville. Put my mind in a certain frame of what I should be looking for, and then when I get there on the water, just let my intuition and my knowledge kind of take over and just jump off of what I read. But if you guys have watched this video to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone and everything that you guys are doing. I mean, my followers on YouTube are awesome. I get a lot of awesome comments. You guys are one of my biggest supporters, and I appreciate you guys being patient with me in the whole video thing. Life has just been really crazy with just work, this whole deal, just getting stuff ready for this. And I'm gonna have 5 days, and not full days either, to overhaul all my tackle and get everything ready for Clarksville. But that's what I signed up for, and that's what it takes to be so-called living the dream, right? So, guys, this isn't the end. This is only the beginning, and hopefully I can make the rest of the year count, and we can get this rookie year going in the right direction after Okeechobee, but starting at Clarksville. But thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate everyone, and hope you all have a blessed day.